Hi everyone, I'm Jeff.
Damn it, Jeff.
That's Don. Damn it, Don. And we want to welcome you to DGG Presents. We're your two favorite damn good games creators and game masters. And in this podcast series, we're going to go over damn good games content, creations, and some tabletop RPG tips and tricks to improve the whole gaming experience. So sit back, grab a drink, and enjoy.
Yar.
Welcome back, everybody. On this episode of DGG Presents, we're going to be introducing you to the settlement of Ordell, which will be the base of operations and starting area for the Marches campaign for the legendary tier patrons. So, Don, tell us about the history of this settlement, how it came into being, why it's here.
Alright, well, in the land itself, there was an impending catastrophe. Not a whole lot's known about it, but during that time, a wizard collected select refugees from all over the world and placed them in the ruins of an ancient civilization. When placed there, the people realized that they were also protected by a ring of large monolithic standing stones that keep the city itself safe, or the settlement at that time. From there, the wizard said, hey, stay in this border and you'll be safe from the outside cataclysm and do your best to survive. And then he vanished.
So these monoliths, these standing stones, they protect the village. People can leave and enter freely.
Yes.
But it prevents dangerous things from outside coming in.
Yes.
So no angry beasts can charge the settlement and destroy and eat everyone, because once they get to the stones, they just can't get through.
Yeah. One of the things that they've noticed is even early on when they tried to travel or domesticate animals or creatures, any creatures that were not present when the enchantment of the stones was activated dies a pretty terrible death.
That sounds pretty gruesome. So, as far as we know, there's no knowledge of who this wizard is, where they went, or what happened after they dumped everyone here, somewhat Noah's Ark style.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the town legend goes, that's what people know. Most of the traditions were passed down orally until they were organized and established enough to start building written record, and most of that is genealogy and family lines.
So that brings up another good point about this settlement is history and information's a little bit inaccurate. Like, there's a general overall truth to a lot of things, but as anyone knows, when you have a game of telephone, things get warped, changed,
Distorted.
and are different distorted at the end. And when all of these people arrived here, it was not a fully functioning settlement. Everything they needed wasn't just here.
No.
So in the beginning, a lot of the history and information was passed down verbally through storytellers, much like in the ancient history of our world.
Yeah.
So some of that information, until they were writing it down, has been lost or has been distorted and changed. So there may be some inaccurate facts here and there.
Oh yeah,
and
I mean,
knowledge that might be considered commonplace in most game settings may not be commonplace in this setting.
Exactly. Another interesting fact is, I mean, you fast forward 500 years of all these written down traditions, and a lot of what people may have as a historical perspective of the world is going to be skewed. You have cultures from all over the world that are kind of melting together at the beginning of this settlement. So, I mean, even the base culture is quite a bit different than you would anticipate in a normal fantasy setting.
Also true, because as you mentioned, this is almost a melting pot of races, cultures that have been brought here and been saved. And after 500 years of living together, there might still be some minor prejudices in some people, some family lines, but all these races living together for 500 years have learned to coexist. So you've got goblins, bugbears, kobolds, all those different, what are considered sometimes monstrous races, have been living in harmony as part of this community. So the typical thoughts of, oh, there's a kobold, oh, there's an orc, and them being evil and not helpful, you can pretty much throw that out the window as far as what's in the settlement.
Yeah, and as far as players are concerned, this opens up the capability, even though you're in an isolated town or settlement, to play all varying types of species and races that exist. which is kind of a nice open-ended way to shape and develop the culture of Ordell as the players move forward.
So as we fast forward in Ordell's history to current time,
Yep.
About 500 or so years after the creation, we have a small, thriving civilization now.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows a lot about of the beginning history, minus the stories that are told, what you've learned here earlier. But in this city now, we have different vendors. You have your blacksmiths, your alchemists, money changers, tanners. And so these are the people that the players will be working with to sell and make goods. One of the other mechanics in this game is we've input the ability to upgrade these different crafters. Now, what would that unlock for the players, Don?
It can open up the capability of being able to access and develop new magic items or better, more advanced gear, weapons, that sort of thing. The ability to move or change enchanted weapons. A lot of customization options as you build it up. It's very much in the vein of like a settlement building mini game almost tied to D&D itself, which really, really lends itself to kind of the gamified mechanics to how Marches works.
And along with that, if you may notice, there may be a vendor of something that does not exist. There's also a mechanic in place. If you wanted to find a vendor for that, that is something you could possibly do within the mechanics of the game, either with downtime or possibly a session itself could be involved in trying to get someone set up to be a new vendor that doesn't already exist.
Yeah, to establish a good foothold and get that organized. And that's one of the real cool and key ways players can help influence how the town of Ordell actually builds itself. You get to help control and shape how things grow and develop.
Yeah, even though the settlement has existed for almost 500 years, and we're coming into it now, it's still almost a living organism in itself. It's growing, changing, evolving, adapting, and all of that growth and change that is going to happen is going to be influenced very largely by the players and the actions they take.
I mean, the culture itself is almost on the edge of xenophobic because there was a cataclysm that, as far as they know, wiped out civilized world outside of their borders. So the players become this catalyst of change and growth in the town, and that can be met culturally by some conflicts as well. But, I mean, that's, again, cool ways you can shape the town as things grow and move forward.
So now transitioning a little bit to the more government side of the settlement of Ordell. The settlement is kind of ran by a council.
Yeah.
And so tell us just a little bit about this council. Like, how many members is on it? What is their job? What are they doing?
Usually the council itself is a set of representatives that I believe there are 9 that help control and govern policies and how each segment of the town interacts with each other. They also vote on large things like construction, construction, building of new, structures, construction. They manage all sorts of things.
So this also opens up another, we know there's all types of players out there, and so this game is not just going to, doesn't necessarily have to be just about combat or anything else. There's a political side to this, a subterfuge side.
Most definitely.
So whatever type of game you're looking for can be found within this setting.
Yeah, there's all sorts of influence with political intrigue and social interactions, especially as the players develop their guild, and that guild has to interact with the people of Ordell itself. Sometimes where the rubber meets the road, it's not always pretty, and there's a lot of potential for just total game sessions of just RP.
And so the guild is is basically the starting point for all the player characters. Everyone is going to be a part of this guild. We're not going to get too much into the guild right now. We'll talk a little bit more about the guild when we get to the character creation episode coming up soon.
Yeah.
But this guild is where a lot of things are going to start. There are supporting documents for a bunch of different things to read through that explains about the settlement, the council, the guild, different things.
Yep.
So make sure that you take a look and read through all those documents before you jump right in, because there's a lot of good information that can prepare you for the game and also give you a little edge in some situations by having that knowledge right there.
Absolutely.
All right, well, that's it for this episode today, talking about the settlement of Ordell.
Oh, yeah.
There's a special meaning to the word Ordell. If you can figure it out and take a look, I think you'll appreciate what you see there. But we'll just leave it at that to let you figure it out, and we'll see you next time.
Yep, sounds good. Remember, damn it, Geoff.
Damn it, Don. Let's get out of here.
All right. Peace.